Hello, hello! My name is Kallista, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. In the last episode, we survived the harrowing, and Jowan informed us that First Enchanter Irving wanted to speak with us, so we should go see him without delay. And of course, by without delay, I mean by talking with everyone that we can first. We have a level. There we go. And, ooh, Stone Fist is pretty good. Yeah, let's have that. Okie doke. Also, a quick warning, if I sound a little bit off today, my apologies, I have a migraine. I get them pretty frequently, it's kind of a bummer. Okie doke. Anything around here? Ooh, yes. Thank you, an apprentice cowl that I will never use because it is ugly. Anything to say?
My mentor says I have great potential.
Good for you, buddy.
I'm terrible at spells. You're lucky you're so talented.
Oh, I'm sure you're not all that terrible. It's just about focusing your mind and stuff like that. I think Evelyn does acknowledge that she is talented. Like I said, she doesn't have Marnie's inflated sense of self-worth. I think she does acknowledge that a lot of it is, I'm just naturally gifted at this. It's not that I'm amazing or that I've worked really hard. It's that I have a natural talent for this sort of thing.
Congratulations on your test.
Thank you. Oh, and we can't speak to you. Alrighty then. Ooh, Buckle of the Winds, thank you. And nothing else over here. Okie doke.
It will be done.
Big doors are blocked off today for some reason.
Did you hear? Hear what? I heard they suspect someone of dabbling in blood magic.
Why would anyone do something so stupid? That's a death sentence.
Because blood magic is powerful? You can bend others to your will and force demons into your service. That's what I hear anyway.
Oh god, Evelyn is thinking, just not again. Please not again. That is not what I want. She does not want to have another Redder situation on her hands.
I really hate how the Templars are always staring at us.
I don't think Evelyn minds the Templars staring. It's part of their job. And, you know, Evelyn is always happy to greet the Templars with a, hello, how's your day? And the Templars often say, go away. I'm working. Don't be doing that. And then she'll say, oh, I'm really sorry for bothering you. And she'll back right off. Evelyn's never really had any trouble with the Templars.
I heard that Cullen's in love with you.
What? Evelyn's response to that would be, oh, don't be silly. And then she'd stop thinking about it. Oh god, I don't think Evelyn really picks up on crushes, especially from men, because somehow, I don't know how this happened, both of my humans are gay. I don't know how this happened, both of my dwarves are straight, both of my humans are gay, and then my, one of my elves is straight and the other is bi, so, I don't know how that ended up happening. I swear it was completely accidental.
As you say.
Okay, Evelyn, no need to get so moody. It's just a vanity. Oh, I never started my timer going. Whoops. Ah, well. It's only been like 3 minutes or something. Anyone in here? No. Thank you. Why would you keep private documents in a very suspicious looking cabinet? I mean, that cabinet is just asking to be looked at. Some blank vellum.
You must control the fire with your will. Keep the flames steady. We don't want it sputtering and leaping about. That's what causes most of the injuries.
Injuries?
But... Steady. It reacts to your emotions. If you panic, it will... No. Breathe. You know, in my experience, flint and tinder works just as well. Maybe we should start with that.
Poor guy. If you would ever like any tips, Evelyn is always willing to give them. Seeing as she's pretty handy with the old primal stuff.
Was the harrowing scary? It must have been. Why else would they call it that?
I don't think Evelyn would have called the harrowing scary. Trying, certainly. I don't think Evelyn is used to doing stuff on her own. I mean, lessons and, you know, that kind of thing, yes, but I imagine that Evelyn is much more used to fighting in a group, you know, with other mages. Having to go in there alone without any backup was kind of dodgy, but then again, the harrowing must be so much worse for people who only know healing magic.
It gets easier as the years go by, doesn't it?
Kind of, yeah, I'd say. If you study hard and you work at it.
Ah, congratulations on your harrowing.
Thank you, sir.
You remember what the chantry says about magic?
Magic must serve man, and not rule over him.
Very good. And what do you think that means? Can anyone tell me?
Only boys can do magic.
Hey!
No, that's not what it means.
It means that magic should be used to help people, but we can't use our magic to force people to do what we want.
That's right. We should not abuse the gift the Maker has given us.
I think this is something that Evelyn would like to do one day. I think that she'd, you know, like to teach the younger apprentices the basics of magic and all that kind of thing. Because Evelyn does believe that she will be in the tower for the rest of her life. In her wildest dreams, she hopes that maybe she could become the court-appointed mage in Denerim. In her wildest dreams, but, you know, when she thinks somewhat more realistically, she's like, I'll probably end up being a teacher, and if I can teach the little ones, that'd make me happy.
I remember when you were this age. Adorable.
Oh, thank you! Thank you. Oh, that's very sweet.
Boys are better at magic than girls.
Of course they're not. If this was Marnie, she'd punch that kid. What did you say, Pav? But no, this is Evelyn, so that would be met with like a little, oh, you scamp type of thing.
I'm going to be a powerful mage when I grow up.
I hope so.
I can't wait to learn the fire spells. It looks like fun.
It is fun. It's very fun. Do it. Set everything on fire. Evelyn wouldn't say that. Evelyn wouldn't say that.
Irving's waiting to give you your mage robes.
Yes, Evelyn is very excited to get to move up to the, Ooh.
If I had put all my power behind that spell, you would have been obliterated. I am not your enemy. Fear is your enemy. It is a weakness that can be exploited. Should you face a demon with your will wavering so, it would consume you. Is that what you want? No? Then stand firm and know you can resist whatever I throw at you. Again.
Better. Very good. And yeah, what I was saying is that Evelyn can't wait to move up to the actual mage quarters. Excuse me, I would like to talk to you. Oh, but I can't. Oh well.
I'm terrible at spells. You're lucky you're so talented. I heard Humbert volunteered to take the Rite of Tranquility. How awful.
But if Humbert wants to be tranquil, then that's his business. Who are we to judge? Oh, a book.
Of course.
Mana and the use of magic. Mana is that which defines a mage. It is potential that dwells within a person but does not always manifest itself. All men are connected to the Fade. We go there to dream. But only those with this potential may draw upon its power. Mana is, then, a measurement of one's ability to draw power from the Fade, and it is this power which is expended in magic. As in all other things, it has its limits. Just as a man has the strength to lift only so much weight and no more, a mage cannot work more magic at one time than his mana allows. If he wishes to work magic that would be beyond his strength, a mage must bolster his mana with lyrium. Without lyrium, it is possible for the reckless to expend their own life force in the working of magic, and occasionally ambitious apprentices injure or even kill themselves by over-exertation. From the lectures of First Enchanter Wenceslas. Very interesting.
Jowan's been acting weird all day. Have you seen him?
He has been acting a little bit skittish, but you know, Evelyn is hoping that's just because she's moving up to the mage quarters, because pretty much since Evelyn arrived, she's kind of been joined with Jowan at the hip. They've spent much of their time together, and so she's really hoping that it's just because she'll be moving to a different part of the tower, and they'll still see each other. Obviously, they'll still see each other. Jowan is like Evelyn's best friend, but, you know, they won't share the same bunk and all of that.
Did you hear the rumor about someone being a blood mage?
Oh, yeah, Evelyn has, and she's very worried about it. Who would be silly enough? You know, that's what Evelyn thinks, and then she can't draw a name, so it has to just be a rumour. Of course it has to just be a rumour. I know it wasn't a rumour with Redda, but this time it's just a rumour.
Welcome to the Circle's stockroom of magical items. My name is Owain. How may I assist you?
I don't need anything. What is the stockroom for? What can I buy from here? Are you really a tranquil mage? Oh, I don't like any of these. Evelyn knows what the stockroom is for, and she knows that she can't buy anything here. This is the stockroom. It's a school. You don't buy the school supplies. And of course he's tranquil. Look at his forehead. He's got the brand. Admittedly, this is part of a mod, which adds the brands to the Tranquil. They were meant to be in the game, but then, unfortunately, BioWare couldn't add them, so they got cut, but then they were added to Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition. I will say, if you go through number 4, basically you learn that Owain volunteered to be Tranquil. He didn't want to do the harrowing, and as such, he volunteered to do the Rite of Tranquility, and he doesn't regret his actions. But then you kind of think you're Tranquil. Can you regret your actions? Admittedly, the Tranquil do seem to have some level of free will, in that Owain says during the Circle quest line, when you get to this floor and you meet him, he does say, I don't want to die. I want the Circle to go back to the way it used to be. So they can want, but it's just kind of what level can they want? I don't need anything.
Very well. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Owain. Why is the floor shiny? What is? Oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, I don't think Evelyn is creeped out by the Tranquil. Like I said, she just likes to be friendly to people. She likes to say hello, see how people are doing.
If you want something from the stockroom, you must speak to Owain.
Oh, okay, buddy.
Is there something you need? You must speak to Owain.
Inquisitor? Inquisitor? Is that you? That is the Inquisitor. That is Alex Wilton Reed? Oh god, I can never remember her name. I'm sorry.
Your mentors must be happy for you. You passed the harrowing.
I would hope they're happy for me, and I hope you have a wonderful day, sir.
That's not likely. The Chantry would do something before it came to that.
Will they?
They haven't done anything, and I've heard that the Equitarians are starting to soften a little on the Libertarian position.
Sympathy for the position isn't the same as support. Yet. As far as I know, most Equitarians prefer to remain allied with the Loyalists. You can see why, don't you? Just think of what the Chantry would do if suddenly the Circles were petitioning for more independence, or even a split.
Won't be pretty.
Ah, those short-sighted Libertarians. They'll get their way and take us all down with them.
Is that Aldred's voice actor? It's the way he says certain words. Independence. How he says that, it sounds very much like how Aldred speaks in the final chamber. In the harrowing chamber, excuse me. I'm gonna say that Torin is voiced by the same person who voices Aldred, but I'm not 100% sure about that. The 4 schools of magic, spirit. And the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. Threnodies 5:4. The first of the 2 schools of energy, spirit, is opposed by the primal school. It is the school of mystery, the ephemeral school. This is the study of the invisible energies which surround us at all times, yet are outside of nature. It is from the Fade itself that this magic draws its power. Students of this school cover everything from direct manipulation of mana and spell energies to the study and summoning of spirits themselves. I'm sorry, like I said, I have a migraine, so I'm struggling to read a little bit. By its nature, an esoteric school, as most others know virtually nothing about the Fade. Studies of spirit magic are often misunderstood by the general populace, or even confused for blood magic, an unfortunate fate for a most useful branch of study. From The 4 Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus.
I think someone's here to speak to you, Senior Torin.
I wasn't, but I will speak to both of you after I've looked at these bookcases. History of the Circle. It is a truth universally acknowledged that nothing is more successful at inspiring a person to mischief as being told not to do anything. Not to do something, excuse me. You know what, I'm just going to start this codex entry again. It is a truth universally acknowledged that nothing is more successful at inspiring a person to mischief as being told not to do something. Unfortunately, the Chantry of the Divine Age had some trouble with obvious truths. Although it did not outlaw magic, quite the contrary, as the Chantry relied upon magic to kindle the eternal flame which burns in every brazier in every Chantry, it relegated mages to lighting candles and lamps. Perhaps occasional dusting of rafters and eaves. I will give my readers a moment to contemplate how well such a role satisfied the mages of the time. It surprised absolutely no one when the mages of Val Royeaux, in protest, snuffed the sacred flames of the cathedral and barricaded themselves inside the choir loft. No one, that is, but Divine Ambrosia II, who was outraged and attempted to order an exalted march upon her own cathedral. Even her most devout Templars discouraged the idea. For 21 days, the fires remained unlit while negotiations were conducted, legend tells us, by shouting back and forth from the loft. The mages went drearily into exile in a remote fortress outside of the capital, where they would be kept under the watchful eye of the Templars and a council of their own elder magi. Outside of normal society and outside of the Chantry, the mages would form their own closed society, the Circle, separated for the first time in human history. From Of Fires, Circles and Templars, A History of Magic in the Chantry by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. I think it was a good idea in theory. The issue is that it's still ruled by the Chantry. That is my personal problem with the circles. I think the circles should exist, but they need to be outside of Chantry control. They need to be two separate bodies. Because the Chantry is obviously still very bitter about, not necessarily this incident, I think this probably plays a part of it. Excuse me, my throat is going. But the Chantry still wants to have a very tight leash on the mages. And as such, you know, they're not going to take abuses seriously. Personally, I think the hiring of Templars should go to the First Enchanter. Because that way you can hire Templars that you know are going to be sympathetic, but they are going to take their job seriously. You know, they're not going to get overly attached to the mages to the point where, you know, like, oh god, Terry became an abomination. Not Terry. Terry shared his lunch with me all those times. I can't kill him. Oh shit, a bunch of civilians have died because Terry's a fucking madman. You need Templars that are going to be sympathetic, but they're not so sympathetic that they're not going to be willing to draw their blades on someone that becomes an abomination. And like I said, the hiring of Templars is obviously done by the Chantry, and they are going to hire zealots and people who hold the chant of light close to their hearts. They're going to hire people like Marnie. Basically, they're going to hire people like Marnie who have a shoot first, ask questions, probably never approach, which is not healthy. The mages obviously are not going to appreciate that. And if you would excuse me, Niall. Entropy, okay. The 4 schools of magic, entropy. To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. Threnodies 5 second. The second of the 2 schools of matter, entropy is the opposing force of creation. For this reason, it is often called the school of negation. Nothing lives without death. Time inevitably brings to an end all things in the material world, and yet in this ending is the seed of a beginning. A river may flood its banks, causing havoc, but bring new life to its floodplain. The fire that burns a forest ushers in new growth. And so it is with entropic magic, that we manipulate the forces of erosion, decay, and destruction to create anew. From the 4 Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus. Okie doke. Now then, how are you two doing?
Hello. Congratulations on your harrowing last night. Good work.
What were you talking about earlier? Tell me about the fraternities. Thank you, but I can't stay to chat. What were you talking about earlier?
Ah, the fraternities of the enchanters. You probably haven't heard of them. It's best not to get tangled up in circle politics. More trouble than it's worth, really.
Tell me about the fraternities.
They're found in all circles throughout Thedas. Groups of enchanters who hold similar viewpoints, who band together to make their voices heard. The most influential fraternity are the Equitarians. They are moderates and believe in a code of conduct that all mages should adhere to. Then there are the Chantry apologists, the Loyalists. The Chantry says something and they follow it to the letter. The Lucrosians just want to make money, and the Isolationists would like us all to be hermits and live on an island. Then, of course, there are the Libertarians. They want more power for the Circle, more autonomy.
Which do you belong to? Isn't that a good thing? Thanks, that was interesting. Which do you belong to?
Well, if I had to, I'd say I was an Equitarian, but I ducked out of the fray a long time ago. Most of the senior enchanters are Equitarians. Irving, Wynne, Sweeney. Ulrid's a Libertarian, and a loud one at that. Mages have enough opposition from the outside without tearing our circles apart with infighting. But what can you do?
Giving up doesn't help anyone. I should be going. I do think that Evelyn is the type of naive person to say number one. Not that, like, not that number one is inherently naive, but from this guy's perspective, he's, I don't know what, mid-50s maybe? That would be my guess. And, you know, he's, as he says, you know, mages have enough opposition from the outside without tearing our circles apart with infighting. You know, we're so busy battling each other that we don't really, you know, maybe we should all band together instead. You know, that's his reason for just saying, you know what, I'm ducking out. I can't with this. I can't deal with this. And I don't think that Evelyn necessarily understands that. Giving up doesn't help anyone.
An idealist, I see. Well, if you're going to change the world, you should get started immediately. Lots of world to cover.
The Fraternity of Enchanters. Another aspect of circle life is the fraternity. When a mage becomes an enchanter, he may ally himself with a fraternity. These are cliques that cross circle boundaries, mages of common interests and goals who band together to ensure that their voice is heard within the College of Magi in Cumberland. The largest fraternities currently are the Loyalists, who advocate loyalty and obedience to the Chantry; the Aquitarians, who advocate temperance and follow a distinct code of conduct which they believe all mages should hold themselves to; the Libertarians, a growing fraternity publicly maintaining greater power for the circles, but secretly advocating a complete split from the Chantry, a dangerous opinion naturally; the Isolationists, a small group that advocates withdrawing to remote territories in order to avoid conflicts with the general populace; the Lucrosians, who maintain that the circle must do what is profitable first and foremost. They prioritize the accumulation of wealth, with the gaining of political influence a close second. The Ferengi faction. So far, an alliance between the Loyalists and Aquitarians has prevented the Libertarians from gaining much headway, but there are signs that the Aquitarians may throw their support in with the Libertarians. If that happens, many mages predict it will come to civil war among the circles. From the Circle of the Magi, a history by First Enchanter Josephus. Okay. Where would Evelyn be in this list? She wouldn't be a Lucrosian. She has no interest in gaining wealth. She wouldn't be a loyalist either. Evelyn, I mentioned this before, Evelyn isn't anti-circle because without the circles, she'd be dead. She'd be an abomination by now. It's because of the circles that she is so powerful, that she is so talented because of their expert teachers, and she feels very lucky to have been in a circle. You know, she feels kind of bad for all of the hedge mages who didn't have access to all of these, you know, wonderful books and knowledgeable teachers. But at the same time, as I said, she does acknowledge that not everyone has as good a time in the circle as she is having. Her friend Redda was miserable here. And while she's very upset that Redda used blood magic to escape, she can understand why she did it. She was completely miserable. She was not happy here. And I think Evelyn thinks, for the sake of Redda's own well-being and mental health, she had to leave, and the only way she could do that was through very illegal measures. It makes her very sad. She feels very upset about her friend. At the end of the day, it just reinforces her feelings that I could have done something. If I'd paid a bit more attention, if I'd asked a few more questions, then maybe I could have helped her find happiness here, but I didn't. And she was supposed to be one of my best friends, and I wasn't there for her. She just feels very guilty about the entire situation. So yeah, I don't think she's a loyalist. She is Andrastian, but again, she also admits the Chantry doesn't exactly have the right idea about magic. magic is a gift, we shouldn't treat it like a curse. Which just leaves me with the Aquatarians, the Libertarians, and the Isolationists. I think she could identify with all three of these groups. Get rid of the Chantry, go to live in some remote place, and hold yourself to a certain code of conduct. It sounds perfect. We don't have people who are scared of magic, scared of us. We're all behaving nicely, and the Chantry isn't bothering us. Good times. Let's just mold these three groups into one, and there you go. As he said, an idealist. We'll call it the Idealist Party.
Hello. Were you looking for something?
What were you talking about with the other mage? Who are you? Just books, no nothing. Yeah, there are a lot of people in the circle. I think it's pretty easy to imagine that Evelyn hasn't met everyone, even though she is living there. Who are you?
I'm Njal, a mage just like you. I've seen you around, haven't I? I must have.
Yeah, she'll have known, she'll know his face, but, they've never actually spoken. What were you talking to that other mage about?
Oh, the fraternities. Groups of mages with a common agenda. I think we should all be isolationists. Stay in some remote mountain town far away from the mundanes who hate us.
That sounds an awful lot like Haven. Why don't you go off then? Because they're not allowed. I agree, if we run away, they'll never learn not to fear us. Oh, number 3 is a good point. Evelyn would absolutely think that. Oh, no. Yeah, that is absolutely a good point. I had not considered that. If we run away, they'll never learn not to fear us.
They'll never learn that. They don't want to. I'd go hide alone in the wilds if I could. But you know they just brand me an apostate and hunt me down. There is no leaving the circle. It's till death do us part. Romantic, isn't it?
Apostate? I can't stay to chat. Evelyn would know what an apostate is. Especially because her friend Redda is now one. I can't stay to chat.
Alright. Have a good day.
You too, Niall. Yeah, Evelyn has too much faith in other people. She absolutely believes that, if we just stick around and, we let people know that we aren't scary monsters, that the Chantry is incorrect in that, then people will learn to like us.
They say you passed your harrowing. You must be happy.
I am, thank you. Yeah, Evelyn... What did I say? Book smart, socially stupid. Edric, I will get to you in a minute. I see codex entries. The 4 schools of magic, primal. Those who oppose thee shall know the wrath of heaven. Field and forest shall burn. The seas shall rise and devour them. The wind shall tear their nations from the face of the earth. Lightning shall rain down from the sky. They shall cry out to their false gods and find silence. Andraste, 719. Sometimes called the School of Power, the primal school is the second of the schools of energy, balanced by spirit, and concerns the most visible and tangible forces of nature itself. This is the magic of war. Fire, ice, and lightning. Devastation. This is what the vast majority imagines when they hear the word magic. From the 4 Schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus. Yeah, it mainly the magic of war. As I said, for Evelyn, though, her main thinking was, I want to go outside. I can't go outside, so I'll bring the outside to me. She did not intend her magic in a destruction way. She meant it purely as a way of... I don't know if achieving her goals is the right thing to say, but I hope you know what I mean. She didn't intend to become a mage trained in destructive abilities. She just wanted to feel the rain on her face. She just wanted to know what it feels like to feel an earthquake. The ground beneath her feet to be dirt. That kind of thing.
Very well.
A section of books appears to be missing. I wonder why. It's not like they had someone break out of here using blood magic 6 months ago, or however long I said in A Tale of Orzammar, and now we have rumours of a second blood mage. But it does show they do have books on blood magic out and about, because I mentioned this to Hales a while back going through the circle, because Hales was basically saying that it didn't make much sense for the circle to have books on blood magic. Therefore, Niall must be a blood mage. And I argued the point of, well, it's like in Harry Potter. They teach defense against the dark arts because they want people to know how to defend themselves from the dark arts. They just don't teach the students how to do, Avada Kedavra and whatever else those dark magics are. And so I imagine that this probably would have been, how to defend yourself against blood magic, how to do all of that. But with so many blood mages on the rise, it seems they've just decided, you know what, we won't have anything on blood magic. And they've removed it from their shelves. And last but not least, the 4 schools of magic creation. Opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. Threnodies 5:5. The school of creation, sometimes called the school of nature, is the second of the schools of matter, the balancing force and complement of entropy. Creation magic manipulates natural forces, transforming what exists and bringing new things into being. Creation requires considerable finesse, more than any other school, and is therefore rarely mastered. Those mages who have made a serious study of creation are the highest in demand, useful in times of peace as well as war. From the 4 schools, a treatise by First Enchanter Josephus. There we go, very interesting. Yeah, and that does... Oh no, wait, there's one more bookcase. I am out of time, however, I'm gonna pick up all of the codex entries first. Hierarchy of the Circle. It is no simple matter, safeguarding ordinary men from mages and mages from themselves. Each circle tower must have some measure of self-government, for it is... Oh, excuse me, I was completely misreading that. For it is ever the Maker's will that men be given the power to take responsibility for our own actions, to sin and fail, as well as to achieve the highest grace and glory on our own strength. You, who will be tasked with the protection of the circle, must be aware of its workings. The First Enchanter is the heart of any tower. He will determine the course his circle will take. He will choose which apprentices may be tested and made full mages, and you will work most closely with him. Assisting the First Enchanter will be the Senior Enchanters, a small council of the most trusted and experienced magi in the tower. From this group, the next First Enchanter is always chosen. Beneath the council are the Enchanters. These are the teachers and mentors of the tower, and you must get to know them in order to keep your finger on the pulse of the circle, for the Enchanters will always know what is happening among the children. All those who have passed their harrowing but have not taken apprentices are mages. This is where the most trouble in a circle lies, in the idleness and inexperience of youth. The untested apprentices are the most numerous denizens of any tower, but they more often pose threats to themselves due to their lack of training than to anyone else. Knight Commander Serene of the Chantry Templars in a letter to his successor. There we go, very interesting, and I've already spoken to you. Okie doke, in the next episode we'll have a chat with Edric and Sweeney over there, but until then, Please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below, and if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode.